What is going on, beautiful world? Welcome to another Studio Saturdays. Today we're going to be showcasing how to achieve perfect autumn tones and editing. So we're going to jump into Photoshop now, and here we have my image that I selected. I shot this back in September. I edited a set of this, and then, well, I wanted to showcase how to really get some nice autumn toning in. So we're going to be revisiting the edit right now. As you can see, it's still in default raw, and now we're going to be showcasing how to achieve a beautiful edit on this. So first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to warm up the background till we start to get like a little bit of a warm skin tone here. And we're going to start to push this a little bit to magenta. Just going to adjust the scene slightly. We're going to turn down some of those highlights just so we have some neutrals back in here. This is just basically going to be balancing out the shadows and the highlights here. We're going to increase some clarity, add a little bit of texture, so this way if we do any hard color shifts, the amount of grain applied will be able to stick to something. Next thing we're going to do is going to take our red primary and we're just going to kind of push and pull and see what looks nice. And do the same with the green. And we're going to go into the blues. So this looks good, but the one thing that I'm noticing is it's shifting the whole image a whole lot beyond what I actually want. So we're good with this. We can adjust our highlights, and you can see where our highlights start to play in, like so. But we want to do this non-destructively, so we're going to do that after we load the image into Photoshop, so this way we can come back do all this. And we're going to be darkening down these tones on the greens and the yellows. We're going to brighten the aquas and the blues. We're going to turn the saturation down on these as well as the blues. Keeping our greens and yellows roughly the same. You can come in and increase the oranges and the reds very slightly, like so. Next thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of luminance in to try to smooth out any background errors or graining that's happening. A slight curves adjustment layer here. And so far this is our before and after. So we're getting there, definitely. But we're not there yet. And what we're going to do, just going to play with this a little. Just make sure her face picks up a more natural tone. Like so. But it's still a skin tone, so it blends in. We're just going to open the image, and the next thing we're going to do is Command or Control J. That'll duplicate your layer. Then you can also, if you don't want to do it that way, you can drag down here to a little folded sheet and it'll duplicate your background as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight back in to Camera Raw. So now I'm not paying attention to the subject here, we're going to be paying attention to the background. So what we're going to do, we're going to play with the background to get it where we want it. Just the background though. We don't want to worry about anything else. As you can see, it's done a little bit of destructive across our subject here, which obviously we don't want, so we're going to drag this down to make a layer mask. We're going to invert our layer mask, where you could keep the layer mask the same and just select the black brush tool. What you're going to do here is you're just going to brush along your subject or wherever you don't want the edit to be applied. So we're going to turn our opacity up to 100, feathers fine at 40% or hardiness, whichever you prefer to call it. What we're going to be doing is just brushing along her. And if you want, the easiest way I figured out to do this is by doing this way, where you hit your backslash key, and it will apply this red film to showcase where you actually are applying the mask, which makes it a bit easier So you can see exactly where you're touching and stuff like that. You can even use Photoshop's newest filter or selection method to really highlight your subject here. And if we backslash on that again, now you can see we have our selection, but she has not changed, and thus we added in the pant because I preferred the blue from here because it added in a better contrast. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that layer, and we're going to click on the layer mask, right click, apply the layer mask. So now you can see it's only applied to here. So then the next thing we're going to do, duplicate the background, pull the background up, select the top 2 layers, merge these layers. So now you have just your subject. And then what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to be doing some quick skin retouching. So we're going to duplicate this twice, turn off that top layer, grab the bottom one, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. What you're going to do is just kind of find an area on the face. I'm going to zoom in basically up until the skin looks smooth, and it is at only 3 pixels, so we're fine at 3 pixels. Go to the top layer. There we go. Image, apply image. I don't know why I couldn't see that in the first place. So what we're going to do is grab skin copy. We want to grab that layer. We want to change that to subtract. All of these should be the same, 100 to offset of 128. We're A-OK on that. The next thing you're going to do, shift this to linear light, and well, it'll look the exact same. Then you want to go down to the lower level. A feather of 5 pixels should be fine. Zoom in, highlight specific areas of the face by circling, then filter, blur, Gaussian blur. As you can see, from applying even just a 7-point filter, when we Command G these, the difference of the skin starts to smooth out, which is what you want with retouching. Looks like 7 pixels is going to be like our go-to for this, which is I'm totally fine with, but it's best to do it in sections, so this way you can actually see if you need to use a different style or anything like that to really make sure the edit looks flawless. What you can even do too is grab the dodge and burn tool, shrink it down, make sure you select shadows. I'm just going to play with the pupil here. I like to just add the dot in there, back again, and then you want to go to highlights, hold Alt. I'm just going to warm up the eyes a little bit. Obviously you're not going to see too much of it, but it's still going to be affected. And what we can do here is just Command G all of these. So now you can see our before and after for an autumn edit. So you see, especially on the face, you see how that skin retouching just smooths out a little bit of that. Just makes the eyes pop a little bit more. Really gives it that smooth face. And then what I'd like to even do is we can come in here. We're just going to duplicate this group really quick. So we're going to duplicate the group, open the folder, click on the first layer, click Shift, right click all the way down. Then you want to merge these layers. Take this now into Camera Raw. So what we're going to be doing is going straight to Camera Raw here. What we're going to be doing is just adding a slight vignette. Make sure we click outside and just slightly darken the image down. So you want to just pull all of these slightly down. You can adjust the color even more to really play with the subject. I'm just going to be darkening it down, and then you can feather it more or less depending on how you like. I'm going to angle it though because our subject is off to the side, and angle like so. I'm going to hit OK on that, and then I'm going to just group these so you guys can see the total before and after. And that's how you get a wonderful autumn image. Very, very simple. It's just using non-destructive methods of Camera Raw and hue and saturation adjustments. Hope this video was helpful and you guys learned a little bit more about how to shift colors, play with them, and create layer masks that are non-destructive to your images. And now you can make some very wonderful themed images in about 6 months. But this can be applied to any summer vibe or winter. This one was specifically made just for autumn. So it really brings out those warm autumn tones, whereas winter brings out cool tones, blue tones, and summer's more of a yellow or a green. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're brand new, subscribe, or don't. I can't control you. But I hope to see you guys on the next Studio Saturdays, and we'll be covering more and more topics as the videos go on. Thank you.